the 1998 Cadillac Seville. The Seville was first one trim version of the Cadillac Eldorado. There was a Cadillac Eldorado Seville back in the past, but then in 1979 it became a compact sedan aiming at the younger public. It rather attracted an older public looking for a better handling car than the full-size ones, but also didn't want to do without the comfort that Cadillacs used to offer. And the Seville was a quite successful car at the time. In the mid-80s, Seville was completely redesigned and had that rear end that was named Bustleback, which had a sort of a controversial design. In the beginning of the 1990s, the Seville was completely redesigned to something that resembles this car. It was a previous generation of this one, and it counted on the new powertrain named the Northstar V8 V8 engine, which was known for a high performance, for being very modern, but had an issue related to the bolts that held the heads together, and the gaskets used to present a lot of problems. It had some leakage problems, used to leak oil with some use, and the repairs were a nightmare to do, since they were complex and cost a fortune. So what happened was the car had an oil leakage issue. It went to a car shop. It had to be lifted, and the engine and transmission had to be dropped so the repairs could be performed. And this procedure was the only way to do such repair, and cost a fortune. When cars had this kind of issue, they were already depreciated. This car had a sort of an European design, and this appeal made a car very attractive at the time. It was a pity that the Northstar engine had that sort of issue. Opposite to the Cadillac Fleetwood, which counted on the 350 engine, 5.7 liter, that was very reliable, the Northstar 4.8 was not reliable at all due to this gasket issue. In 1998, the car was facelifted to this generation we are seeing at this video, and the Northstar engine had some improvements, but still wasn't really the best engine you could find. Nowadays, these cars are not worth a huge amount of money, really. You can find one for a pretty good price, and if you're lucky to get one without the oil leakages, you can drive it and have a very nice and comfortable car for a pretty long time. This is a front-wheel drive Cadillac, so it handles very well, and also is a very comfortable and nice sedan. This model car, made by Anso on the 1:18 scale, was made in a very nice color. It's dark blue. It's got some very slight paint issues, but the paint quality as a whole is pretty good. The chrome is pretty good. The wheels and tires look nice. The lights, steel lights, turn signals are all made in acrylic and look quite realistic. It's got opening front doors, hood, and trunk. Rear doors, unfortunately, do not open. They are fixed together to the car, although they are separate parts, just like it happens to that Chevrolet Caprice I've shown before, that New York cab. It's got some pretty good finishing touches and some pretty good detail, with a very nice interior that really mocks the leather very well, and has got the wooden pattern as a very nice and luxurious interior, just like in the real car. So we're going to take a look at its details right now. The very nice front end of a Cadillac that mixes the European with the American lines. We can notice the European influence by looking at these front bumper headlights and the car lines, and the American influence with this Cadillac grille with a Cadillac badge that really look very nice. This grille is actually a mesh that mocks the real grille, but it's not open and we cannot see through, but still very well made in this car. And the headlights have very good realism. With the hood open, we can see the Northstar V8, and we can also notice that this engine bay is very tight. So this really explains the complexity of replacing the gaskets in case of the oil leakage issue. We can almost see no room here to work. The radiator, some pretty good detail in the front panel. We can notice there are several covers and all reservoirs and cables and wires. They're all made in a piece of plastic that is cast in one piece, which is according to an intermediate model car, such as this one. This engine cover that looks like aluminum, and it's got a Cadillac badge right here top. You can't really see the spark plugs and cables and wires with all details in this car, but pretty well made engine bay. Very nice looking interior for this car. It's quite simple. It's all made in plastic. It mocks quite well the real thing by reproducing the colors and the textures we find in the cushions, the steering wheel with buttons, the gas and the brake pedals. This is an automatic car, and the gear selector, the central console, which is made with a wood grain pattern, just like the real thing. The gauges are actually reproduced by a sticker. It's okay, according to the standard of a model car. The outside mirror is a chrome sticker. The vents are made in black. Seat buttons, those seats do not tilt, since this car is a sedan. It's a pretty decent interior for this model car. From the passenger side, a radio and air conditioning controls. No controls are found on the dashboard and the central console. Vents look very good in black with this wood grain pattern trim on the dashboard. The glove compartment is pretty well cast in plastic. It's all fixed. It's a pretty decent interior for an intermediate model car. It's got some wider gaps than they should be. Those gaps are a little bit wider than they should be, but still forgivable concerning the standard of the model car. Very nice detail of these cushions is this handmade bed aspect with the leather. In this texture we can see in the plastic. The carpet is also made of plastic, and it's got a pretty correct texture. And we can see the buckles for the seat belts, which is a nice detail. As we can see in the rear seat right here, they're all made in plastic, and they can be further detailed with paint. Nice looking rear end. The 3 had restraints, very nice and realistic taillights with the blinkers made in orange, such as in European cars. Dual exhaust with rectangular exhaust tips. The emblems look pretty good. They're made with decals, very nice decals indeed, in a good proportion. The rear window has a very good transparency, and it's got a defogger. It's a pretty decent model car. The trunk is pretty well made. It's basically made in plastic. That marks the carpet the real car would have. We have this slope here that would probably be due to the gas pipe, since the gas cap is right on the rear quarter panel. Pretty decent hinges. They're not thick. They're not exaggerated. They're simply okay. We cannot find really a rubber seal around this trunk opening, but it could be done by painting it flat black. Would look pretty nice. The base of the car is what I could say, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Well made for this car. It's pretty honest for an intermediate model car. It's a piece of plastic with all elements cast in. There are no individual components in this undercarriage, with the exception of the muffler tips that are made in chrome only. The other parts are all cast in plastic. They're pretty well made. Suspension components, the engine components, the oil pan, the lines, mufflers, and all items that are supposed to be in this car are pretty well made in this model car. This is a front wheel drive, so you're not going to find a differential in a drive shaft. Some items in this car could be painted to have some further detailing, but this is okay. It's honest. It's compatible to the standard of this model car and to what this model car is supposed to be. It is from 0 to 10. I would give this car a 9. It's an intermediate model car, so we really can't expect what we find in a premium diecast model car. It's according to its pattern, according to its standard, and it's got some pretty good detail, adjustment of the moving parts, a pretty nice amount of moving parts. It would be desirable, of course, to have all 4 opening doors, but as long as they were well made. Anyway, the car looks very nice, and the model car looks nice as well. So I'd like to thank you for all subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet. And let me know down in your comments what you think about a video and about a car. And I've been doing some unpacking and unboxing videos of some model cars, starting by premium lines cars I intend to be reviewing as soon as possible. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to give me your thumbs up, share this video, and to click the bell for news. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.